91.7 The Edge, WSUW Whitewater, also streaming live on UWW TV. It's so good to be back here again on this Tuesday. It's a little, the weather is not ideal today, but we're making the best of it, guys. How are we doing?
Pretty good. How are you, Chris?
Fantastic. How about you, Ryan?
I'm doing great.
How are you all feeling about the weather today?
I'm feeling like the weather.
Yeah, I said that earlier too. Like it's just like lazy and
gloomy. Clippers edit that made my day a little better.
Yeah. I'm relying on sports edits.
Yeah, I saw a sweet Lob
Keep the
City
voices down, you know.
Well, after that Packers game on Sunday, I'm right with you guys.
Yeah.
That was not ideal.
Me and Chris almost got a noise complaint watching that game.
Really?
It was an awful.
That's news to
Probably
me.
with
Yeah.
with Mason Thompson living below us.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I most definitely would have gotten a noise complaint if I was here for that. If
I crashed out a little bit during
If I was
that
at my
game.
dorm watching that game, we most definitely would have gotten a noise complaint.
Chris set fire to Colin's apartment.
When
Pretty much.
I watch games, like when I was watching the first half, when I'm watching games by myself, I don't usually yell at the TV. But during that, when Jordan Love threw that pick six, I was yelling at the TV.
When Dontavian Wicks proved that he shouldn't be in the NFL,
I really don't want to talk about Dontavian Wicks. He sold
I
my
love
crashed
Dontavian Wicks.
He really sold
why?
me.
What is there to love about?
Bears fans,
What's
they're
he
probably
happy
he's
about?
probably their favorite player.
Okay, like yeah, he struggled with drops, but he was a fifth round pick, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, late round
career.
pick, and he's proved to be a
Well,
pretty good receiver
he's
in the
in
NFL.
his year 2 Devontae Adams form.
Correct.
Yeah,
This
like,
isn't
I
even
keep saying
this
that,
isn't
but
even
I'm
year
like-
two Devontae Adams. It's worse.
That's what I was
Significantly
telling,
worse.
That's what I was telling Mikey the other day. Like, I can't keep defending him saying, oh, the same thing happened to Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams wasn't dropping wide open 2-yard touchdown
Actually,
passes.
he was. And a lot of fans wanted him cut that year. There were a lot of people that
Maybe
wanted
it's
him
just
cut.
recency bias, but it's so painful just
Yeah.
to think about that man right now.
Well, I mean, I saw a stat today that he's caught 16 of his 43 targets. Now, obviously, not all of those are on him. Like, there was one for an example where it was in the Vikings game. It was the final interception Love threw where he just threw up a prayer to the end zone. That was intended for Wicks, which obviously he's not going to catch
Yeah.
that, but...
I think they should change that. Like some stats, like those where they throw out of bounds and the only receiver in the area gets a target for that, and it's just like drops their completion percentage or like catch percentage.
I think there should be like a score, like there's in baseball, but in the NFL, so they can judge plays like that.
Well,
Where they can judge plays where
call
a
this a
receiver
hot
drops
take
it to
too.
interception.
If a receiver has like somewhat possession, this is a completely different. But like if the receiver has the ball, it gets jarred loose, and then a corner comes in and takes it, that should not count as an interception. And there's times where it does. It's like it'll hit the receiver on the hands, bounce up 20 feet in the air, and then it gets counted as a pick.
Oh, like
Are
for
you-
the
Well, what
quarterback
else do you wanna
stats
call
is what you're
that,
saying. You kind of have to, though.
yeah.
I don't know all the little things.
Idiosyncrasies.
That, you know, like
that go with the sport of football. What else do you want to call it? Kind of pick, not pick.
Yeah, like a half pick or something like
Point,
that.
he's got 0.5.
Point
Yeah,
five interceptions.
Point five interceptions.
Yeah,
and the
he's got
line.
He didn't earn it.
Yeah, Love only
didn't earn
has
the
like
whole
0.7 interceptions this year or
Ah,
something like
let's-
that.
We don't even have the Packers on our list of topics today other than the trade deadline, so can we just not?
Sorry about the therapy
This is
session,
very-
guys.
this is
Let's
very
jump
painful.
right into our first topic. Last week we discussed the best jerseys of all time. This week we're going to discuss the worst jerseys of all time. And Laz, I'll let you start. What is your least favorite jersey of all time when it comes to any sport?
my least favorite would be the 2001 Montreal Canadiens jerseys. Let me pull up a picture for you guys. They're striped
That's a fine pick.
and they're actually disgusting.
It's not these, is it?
No, it's the
Which
Oh.
ones are you talking
Oh,
about?
where's
Those
Waldo
ones right
jerseys?
there.
yeah.
Oh,
it's
no.
these.
The red
It's
ones?
Oh,
these
yeah, yeah.
disgusting acts.
The red or the white ones?
All look at that, dude.
I couldn't play a sport in that.
Yeah, me
Oh,
neither. That is an
Holy
unserious
cow.
jersey.
say, the other ones are-
they're
That is
too
an
much to look
unserious
at.
jersey.
That's 2001.
I don't
See,
think
the
those
thing
are what
is,
you're
right,
talking about,
I'd like
because those ones
vomit
are
if I was
horrible.
watching that hockey game.
If
then-
it's like the
yeah, that
the
was bad.
1940s, it's like those are throwbacks. It's like, I don't know, back then that's kind of what like jersey styles
No,
were. They
that's
were
just
way
a
weirder.
skid mark on the underpants of hockey. That's
is-
disgusting.
That is the quote of the day: a skid mark on the underpants of hockey.
I might get that tatted.
Where you getting it? Where's the tattoo being placed?
Let's do some deductive reasoning here.
Mikey, you can interpret that. On to
Yeah.
Colin.
I got the Pittsburgh Pirates 1999 red vest kit. Just a
Gross.
big old pirate on their jersey.
If you don't
That's
mind,
also a
can
good
I
pick.
can I take a quick look?
Yeah, I mean, You're better off just looking it up. This laptop has been around since before LeBron was in the NBA, so it's going to take like 3 more topics.
We're
to
talking
get that
about
pulled up.
basketball
Since
today.
Christ was a foot soldier.
Yeah.
I said before the show that the LeBron will make his way in somehow.
Anthony
Yeah.
Davis is leading the league in scoring.
He absolutely is.
I'm just putting that out there.
And the Bucks are 1-6.
Yep.
Yeah.
Surely are.
On to
What a day.
Ryan.
Well, Mikey already bashed one of mine pre-show. He said the Eagles blue and yellow pre-1935 ones. Like we talked about them last week.
Those are stinky.
Yeah.
I agree
Those are
with you.
sneaky.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mikey
PU.
read my mind. And then also had the Jags like mustard yellow color rush ones.
Oh, I know what
Those
you're
are
talking about.
gross.
Like
Yeah.
those. I kind of.
And then the Broncos 1960s yellow and brown. Have you guys seen those?
Yeah, those are.
Why, dude? That was gonna be mine.
Are you guys a fan of like the lighter orange and like lighter blue that the Broncos
Oh, I
used to
love
wear
it.
in the
I
80s
love
and
it.
90s?
And they have now
Oh yeah, these are stinky.
the brown. The
Those
brown.
are not
Broncos
just
ones.
stinky.
The
Those
yellow
are-
brown ones, PU. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it literally
I think
looks
they had like
number one and
numbers on the
number two.
helmets too.
They did.
It was like white numbers on the helmets.
Yep.
It was just
Yeah, that stinks.
terrible.
Ugh.
This looks like a Pop Warner
Terrible.
football team, dude.
Terrible.
Terrible.
just terrible.
Just terrible.
Mikey.
Well, I was gonna do the Eagles and the 1960s Broncos, but I'm gonna go more for a practicality approach. I'm going with the 1976 Chicago White Sox uniforms because they made them wear shorts for baseball and collared shirts.
I feel like that has to hurt your legs really bad when you're sliding.
Right.
my
Thank
God.
you for
Exactly.
that.
That's why.
Holy
That's why I'm taking the
Beautiful
practicality.
assessment.
That's why I took the practicality approach. I mean, the uniforms themselves aren't terrible. They're just mediocre. They're just a bland
They
look.
look like bus boys.
Yeah, they got them wearing shorts and collared shirts for a baseball game. It's just
Yeah, but that's tough. Like nothing screams
Tough?
nothing screams dominance like
Wearing
I'm wearing
shorts.
shorts to a baseball. I'm wearing shorts to play.
I don't know. It
It looks
just
like a soccer kit. It doesn't look like a baseball
bit.
jersey.
But they're playing cricket.
This guy looks like a soccer player.
yeah,
Put
soccer
that boy on the
players
pitch.
always.
What are you doing on the plate?
Yeah, they would. Yeah, they literally do look like they're playing soccer. Those look like Madrid jerseys a little
Yeah.
bit, and the way that they have the collar and stuff too.
Who came up with that? I hope
Uh,
they got fired immediately.
Yeah, Mikey, what's the backstory on those?
I don't know the backstory. I
lore?
just know that they are.
Jamie looked that up.
I'll try and find it.
They've got to be just the worst idea for a uniform ever.
Jamie looked that up.
I can't say I disagree with you. That paired with those super high socks, I don't know. It's just not grooving for me. I'm right with you on this one.
But the high socks make sense. You know, they're wearing shorts.
Well,
Well, yeah.
yeah, it's just the combination just
You
does
know,
not look
doesn't
good
look
for
good. It's-
baseball.
it's
I mean,
functional,
maybe if you're in like
maybe.
fifth grade,
It looks like
it'd be
they're
a-
wearing
it'd be
shin
like a
guards,
cool-
like
I
Colin
got-
said.
I got an
Yeah.
answer here for Elaz. It was their owner, William Lewis Veek. He announced in spring training 1976 they're gonna wear shorts as a uniform.
This guy sounds like he sucks.
Yeah.
Was it just like a random idea, or is it
It was-
like
yeah,
a
it
story?
was just
just-
a random
He
idea.
was just like, this
This-
is what we're doing this year. It's gonna be sweet.
This old head is just like, let's wear shorts to a baseball game.
I got a
Interesting.
revolutionary idea.
Yeah, we're gonna switch things up a little.
Speaking of revolutionary ideas, I think you guys said this.
Play
won't-
soccer with a bowling ball. you
Yeah.
know, like,
Basically, that would break people's feet. But
That's the point.
Yeah, that-
It's to test your will.
what were you guys' opinions on the T-shirt NBA jerseys?
I like the way they looked. And
Are you talking like the Christmas ones?
No,
Well,
it's
just
the t-shirts.
you know how the Cavs had like the jerseys that were like black with the C logo
Look,
in it,
those
and
are
they
some
have
of the hardest
sleeves?
Cavs jerseys of all time. But we've heard
What?
from multiple players that they weren't good to play in.
Well, yeah,
I get
because
why
they're
they got
so
rid of
they're
those.
so tight on their arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just have the giant logo on the
Hard-
chest. I think those are
I
tough.
like
I like
I
Those
liked
are
the
tough.
Cavs one specifically for
Yeah.
sure.
I
I
personally
didn't really
disagree.
like the yellow Warriors ones.
Oh no, those are ugly.
Oh, hold
This-
Just too bright. Just too.
Yeah, and then you pair
Too
them, pair 'em
vibrant.
with the striped yellow shorts.
Yeah, what is that?
Those are horrible.
That could be on this segment right now. What is
Yeah,
that?
I did see it. When I looked up
Yeah,
ugliest
those are-
jerseys
those are
today.
stinky.
Oh, those are
It looks
disgusting.
like a fan-made
No, I did
jersey.
not.
The
with
black ones, the black
That
ones
would-
are cool.
That
though.
looks like something
The
someone
black
makes for an
Warrior
expansion
ones.
team on NBA 2K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
could
the
make a
Heat
better
ones aren't
jersey than
bad.
that.
The Heat ones look good.
Yeah.
The Bulls ones kind of look dumb in my opinion.
What do you think
Well,
about the
Bulls
Knicks
are
ones?
just too classic with their jerseys.
I
The
like
Knicks,
I like the Knicks ones. Those
the
are pretty
Knicks
cool.
kind of looks like too much like a fan T-shirt, to be honest to me.
Okay, what do you think about the
Yeah,
Houston
I mean,
Rockets?
it looks like
the,
those look like something you could just buy outside, like outside the stadium. To be honest, those jerseys.
What about the
Vendor-
Rockets,
the
Chris?
vendor jerseys.
The Rockets with the
With the Chinese logo
Chinese
or the
print.
Chinese text on it.
Yeah.
Those don't look terrible.
Oh,
do
Laz
they?
doesn't like them.
They're all
those are-
right.
those
They're not
are-
my
I guess
favorite,
it just
not my least
depends.
favorite.
Like the Cavs ones are by far my favorite. ones.
And they're just so
don't
iconic, bro.
I don't like the jerseys that try to do too
I
much.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's
true.
like just play your hits. Just play your hits.
That's fair.
I just want to say, to get a little creative with this, I was looking up worst jerseys of all time, and somebody had the vintage Toronto Raptors jerseys. On
Yeah.
their
Oh, they also had Vancouver.
Yeah.
They had Vancouver
It was
on there. I was like,
Bleacher
what are you
Report.
guys talking
Yeah,
about?
Bleacher
what are you
Report.
doing? Worst jerseys
It
of
was
all
Bleacher Report.
Some of the top 2 jerseys of all time.
Did we all use Bleacher Report?
We all.
I just
cheated.
need like some ideas, so I just
right.
go.
I don't remember what
None of
I
us
used.
were
Yeah, you need a
creative enough.
springboard.
Yeah.
I
used
just like
something else.
Well, I didn't want
used
to go
whatever
with
fan
the
was, so
camo
that is,
Raptors
so that's what
jerseys.
used.
I came with the Canadians
Speaking
one,
of
so there
t-shirt
was no
jerseys.
surprise when I saw that. But I was like, I should probably bring another one.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
when I was like, all right.
Yeah, shout out the short sleeve camo Raptors jerseys. Those are terrible.
Or the camo Spurs ones.
An
What was
honorable
your guys'
mention.
take on the neon green Seahawks jerseys?
Love
like
'em.
the
I
Love them.
Terrible.
Those are my
Pretty cool.
go-to
You know
in
what?
Madden.
because the
5.7
site I
out of
used
10.
they had those on there. They had that.
Well, it
those
looks
jerseys
like
on
you're
them.
playing in like the UFL or something.
They're the
Like,
best
yeah,
jersey
yeah.
of all
Oh, they had-
time
they had
until
the
you
Raptors
turn
ones on there,
14.
too.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
it's like it goes with like
And
the
the
Nike
Astros,
Elite
yeah.
socks.
Yep.
Astros
Dude, I
long
used to
basketball
always rock
shorts.
It's like
those.
if you're
Oh.
13, if you're in 7th grade wearing that, you're Mr. Popular.
Pretty much. But once you hit
Like
high
the
school,
highest-
it's like it just
highest
goes
one.
right
If
out.
I catch you wearing that after middle school graduation,
Like, what do you think?
I mean, if you had the 76 White Sox high socks, that's a tongue twister,
Yeah.
and the neon Seahawks
Seahawks
jersey, you're the
jerseys.
coolest dude in 5th grade.
I
That's
wear
for sure.
Yeah,
elites
it's
in the
drip.
winter. I
That
wear
is-
elites in the winter. I'm not even ashamed to say it.
No, elites still aren't bad. It's just as long as you're not wearing like super like neon pink or
Yeah.
neon green.
And
color.
pull them all the way up
gross.
to your shin.
Gross.
Oh.
Yeah,
Dude,
Yeah.
The socks pulled up all the way to the all the kneecaps.
I have a couple white and black pairs, but when those are fine if you're wearing shorts or just
Yeah.
recreational use socks. You
Mm-hmm.
know, not going out socks, not stepping
No.
outside the house.
Wearing those to the function.
No.
Hey, man,
You'll
if I
be
see
kicked
somebody
right out.
with the elites at a party I'm at.
If they're the white and black
Climb.
ones, it's fine.
yeah, you get a pass.
It's fine.
Or
But-
they're like like more regular bold colored.
Like
it's
like,
just
Like a darker
dark
blue.
red and white.
Yeah, like a dark blue or a dark red. That's fine.
with
Even
shorts.
that is a little.
With
Even that's a
shorts?
little
It's pushing.
middle schooly.
Yeah, I guess I could see that. All right.
You're like, what? You got an AEU game after this or what?
Yeah, we got to play against Phenom University
Yeah.
right after this. On to Alex.
All right, so I got both of mine taken. So I also had the Pittsburgh Pirates from 1999, and then I also had the blue and yellow Philadelphia Eagles. But then I looked up another one, the Seahawks, so they're neon green ones, but the one where it's just the top is neon green, and
Yeah.
from the
The
2000s.
Yeah.
I think they're the old action green ones, like the first one they had.
I saw
They're
those,
so
yeah.
bad.
So you're
Terrible.
looking it up.
It is really
Yes,
bad.
I am.
Yeah, those are
I'm
kind of
looking them
gross.
up too.
It's just the top is neon green.
I wouldn't really say that's
Oh,
kind of
yep,
gross.
yep,
That's-
I
that's
found
just
it.
bad.
And like the shoulders blue, and then like
Dude,
the pants.
those
are-
have
the pants
poten-
are these ones.
yeah, those ones.
Just
I don't
the,
mind those.
those colors don't go together for
The
me.
owner's son just like
Yeah.
made
Yeah.
a uniform.
His
It's like
5-year-old
Drake
son.
having Adonis draw the
His
album.
10-year-old
Yeah.
son
Yeah,
made
pretty
him-
much.
Made the uniform.
I think the best throwback ones are the Seahawks blue with the gray pants and the gray helmet.
because that's
Yes.
I
just
think the
so
Buccaneers
those are
cream
fun.
I think the
throwbacks.
Giants throwback
What?
ones could have definitely
Buccaneers
made it on the
creamsicle
show.
orange
those are
throwbacks.
good.
Those are
People
not
hate
bad.
those. I love those so much.
I love those.
The
Yeah, I
green
also
school
saw
ones?
those on a worst jersey.
Yeah, I
list
saw it
by-
too.
I don't
Who
hear
was writing
many,
for Bleacher
to be
Report?
honest.
I'm pulling up Bleacher Report.
We're about
I
to put
wanna
this
see what's
author
on
on
there.
blast, bro.
Okay,
Looks like
really?
he still
30
works.
He's
for
in
Bleacher
trouble.
Report.
He's not liked on the Hawk Talk floor right now.
Okay, really quickly, I also want to share. I strongly dislike the Packers uniforms with the brown helmets.
Oh, of course.
Understandable.
Yeah.
And then the circle. You get the circle.
The
brown
circle,
circle.
okay, the circle wasn't terrible.
With the
the
khakis?
idea was
With
there.
the-
it's
yeah,
just
the
the
khakis.
execution was
Like, what's
awful.
wrong with
The Mike
That's a cool
the Mike
jersey.
Daniels
What's wrong
pee
with
pants
those?
ones.
Yeah.
Pee pants?
You don't remember
Mike,
that?
Mike Daniels, he peed his pants.
I don't even know who Mike Daniels is.
What?
dude.
Packers legend Mike Daniels.
Packers and Lions legend Mike Daniels.
Lions.
He peed
Yeah,
his
he was
pants.
on, he was on. He went to the Lions after.
Dude,
he
like
was banned.
NFL players like puke all the time on the field.
I mean, the
Probably peed my
Packers
pants,
center
too.
literally.
I was about to say, I remember.
Laz.
I remember that was such a big deal for no reason.
Oh, those.
Never seen
Josh
that?
Myers threw up on the ball.
I don't mind those. The pants aren't
is that
it, but I don't mind
Yes.
the upper half.
That's P?
Yes, he peed himself.
Gross.
well, dude.
Let's
Dis-
steer the
disgusting.
conversation back to the jerseys
Yeah,
and
let's. My
Less
bad.
about the
I-
laboratory.
I just heard-
Kit
Come
right
on.
there.
I just-
Specifically
Can
the
we
pee pants from
Mute
Mike
this
Dane.
guy's mic.
Can we
That
get
counts.
whatever
Yeah,
Mike Dane
Ryan,
is?
Ryan,
Mike
you're
Ford.
cut off.
Mike 4.
Mikey
Please
is
mute
always
Mike
trying to get
Ford.
somebody else's mic muted because he's salty.
Dude, half the
Just mute the fishbowl again.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I think
Have a
you
have a
can-
3-person show.
Let's do it like
I can
when it was
name
Drew,
at
Sam, and
least, like-
Nolan on Hawk Talk just out here. There's
I
no
can name
Hawk
like
Talk.
5 Brooklyn Nets jerseys that
Yeah.
belong on the stinky list.
Over those. Those are clean, though.
No, not those. Like recent
Yeah.
Brooklyn Nets jerseys.
Their jerseys
like
are
with
so
all the
boring.
graffiti and whatnot. It's like, what are we doing?
Those are kind of like,
Dude,
I don't
honestly,
know.
Oh.
You either
Yeah, we'll
love
be the
those or
live
you hate them.
studio
Yeah.
audience
I hate
in
'em.
We're gonna
attendance.
be the live studio audience for you.
Yeah, we'll be the
Yeah.
live studio
Yeah.
and we'll
audience.
shut our
just
mouths over here.
Yeah.
eating
Like,
popcorn.
what is that?
I'm going to throw up the applause sign. You guys better go.
Please clap. Please clap.
They had
Stop.
they have the Raptors ones, and then they had the Denver Nuggets jerseys on here. I think as the worst ones of all time. No, they were number 2.
Yeah. Another fire
Another
jersey.
phenomenal.
I don't mind
Those
those,
are
honestly.
I
pretty
love
good.
those.
I kinda like
don't-
those.
I don't get it.
Whoever
Whoever's
made that
right
list
They
must have been
represent
cool.
like the 70s, 80s so well.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Right here.
He shouldn't just be.
Show,
Show everyone.
show the one.
Show the
Cut
world.
the last. Cut the last. Whoever's.
Is it?
Yeah.
TV practice.
Hey, Josh, that's all you. Cut the
Yeah,
last
yeah.
real quick.
Please.
I can't see. I can't see what we're doing here.
All right, with that, I think we're going to move on.
We just
'cause
spent
we
almost
gotta-
20 minutes on Warhawk.
We did indeed. But with
Whoopsies.
that, we're going to
Good.
move on to our first official topic of today, which is Warhawk basketball, which is tipping off. The women's team tipping off this Friday. I believe they play against DePaul in that matchup.
DePaul.
DePaul, not
DePaul.
DePaul. DePaul.
Paw.
DePaul.
Is
DePaul.
DePaul.
They come in
Number
against
24.
DePaul, number 24 in the country, so it'll be a top 25 matchup. I believe Whitewater
Hey,
comes into this game at, what was it? I think it's rank 4
think it's
in the
4,
country.
yeah, that's 4.
I believe they also got a first place vote. Whitewater in their last matchup against DePaul 5 years ago lost to them by 1 point, 70 to 69. That was pretty nice, if you know what I'm saying, but not for the Warhawks. But
Nice.
Alex, I'm going to start with you. What are you going to be expecting from this team throughout the season?
So, I mean, they've been very good the past 3 years with a total record of 76 and 17. They led the WIAC 2 of those 3 years, with Oshkosh taking the conference last year. And I believe that it's Oshkosh is going to be the team to beat this year, and it's going to be a very enjoyable fight between these two teams. As of now, they're ranked number 8, and Whitewater sits at 4. Oshkosh is without Kennedy Elsterman, who was a huge three-point shooter for the Titans because she graduated, so she's gone now. But they do still have Bridget Frolk, who made 81 three-pointers last year, and she's going into her senior year, so she's going to be huge for them.
Oshkosh did return most of their production, if I remember correctly.
It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary.
Pretty spooky.
But yeah, Whitewater
spooky.
does have prominent three-point shooter Casey Carollo, who made 48 from deep last year.
Corallo.
Corallo.
Oh,
Just
Corallo.
going to fact check you real quick.
Oh, thank you.
Casual.
Appreciate it.
Casual freshman
Casual.
mistake. It's okay.
Yeah, it happens.
Whitewater-
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah. Whitewater did lose Aaliyah Grundall.
Yep.
Good job.
One of the greatest, if not the greatest player in
The GOAT.
program
Yeah, the
history.
GOAT.
The GOAT of
Go to
Whitewater
D3
basketball.
women's basketball.
I believe
Put it
she
out there.
scored over 2,600 points in her
Come
career.
on.
Jesus.
I think
She
she had
had
37 in a game last year.
Yeah, she did.
She's
I
the
was
LeBron of
calling
D3
it. I was
women's
calling
basketball.
that game. I was calling that game. It was
Wow.
sweet.
Yeah.
This is a good
Shameless plug.
She was an amazing player for the team. But coming back is Katie Hildenbrandt, fire, who led the team in blocks last year with 40. So, I mean, overall, I'm excited for this Whitewater team.
Something to note. Mikey?
Yeah, I mean, Alex kind of narrowed it down pretty well. But ultimately, the start of the year, I don't think it's going to be nearly as on fire as it was last year. Obviously, starting out 17-0 to start the season out is phenomenal. They also made a pretty deep tournament run after losing in the semifinals of the WIAC tournament. They beat U Minnesota Morris, Millikan University, got past Hope College in the national championship rematch from 2 years ago, I think it was. But ended up falling to Transylvania in the Elite Eight, unfortunately.
Transylvania,
call
who
for
I
that
think
game.
was, I believe
They were-
Transylvania was on, I think it was either a 63 or
There was
64
some-
game
on
win
some
streak at the time.
Kentucky
was on
type
call
of
for
win
that
streak.
one.
I was on radio.
Yep, TV.
I was in the stands for that game. That was an unfortunate circumstance to watch that. I don't remember who it was, but someone did like the Stephon Diggs, just like stared.
It was
from
Evan
this-
Chrisman.
Yeah.
Or
He was-
Don
He
Hernandez.
was sitting there just staring. The Stephon Diggs
I remember
stare.
exactly
Didn't get a
that
single
moment.
minute of tick. Just
You would have thought Evan was on the team.
Blood thinks he's on the team.
Exactly what it did. But yeah, ended up losing there. Of course, losing to Leah Grundle is going to be a huge shot, but they still kept a few pieces to the puzzle from last year, including Casey Corallo, Maggie Tosh, Mallory Olafson, Katie Hildebrandt.
It's Trouch.
Who?
Maggie Trouch.
Casual.
Trouch. Yeah, that was a casual mistake.
We're exposing the
Oh my
fishbowl on
gosh.
Hawk Talk here
Jeez.
today.
I'm making fresh
First day on
mistakes.
campus or what?
I'll try not to disappoint here.
But yeah, going up against number 24 DePaul on Friday, then staying home on Saturday to play those bums at Lakeland University.
That was
Lakeland's
unnecessary.
catching us straight again.
Lakeland University.
Mikey,
must
I don't
be
know
You
why
disrespected my roommate's alma mater right now.
why a kid from just a small town in Illinois is disrespecting my hometown college
Yeah.
so
As
much.
I am a
It's
Rockford
unnecessary.
They are
University
buns
supporter.
at
I
football.
cannot
Chris's
sit here and
shoulders just
support
immediately
Lakeland.
dropped. They were just like, so unnecessary.
Gotta be kidding me.
My summer boss.
But
is
as a
crying.
Rockford University supporter, I have to throw shade at Lakeland University. It's my legal obligation. But overall,
I don't
never
think you
even
signed a
heard
contract.
why. Rockford
Did you
has a
sign
college?
contract?
yeah, Rockford.
Is
we
that
have.
a rivalry or what?
I don't think it's like a huge rivalry. They're in the same conference though. I think it's like the NACC.
Wait,
Yeah, you would be
University?
correct.
what's
Yeah.
your hate with them?
I
I've
don't know.
never
They're
even
just in the
heard,
sa-
you know-
they're just in the same conference, so I'm just throwing shade for no
Go
reason. to be
Muskies,
honest.
come on.
Interesting. Interesting.
To keep it
Very-
100%.
To keep it 100.
To keep it a buck.
Let's keep it a
Keep
buck.
it a buck with you, Chief.
On to Ryan.
I mean, they pretty much said a lot of it, but I think the Whitewater Warhawks are going to be very experienced this year. They have a very experienced backcourt with, like we said, Corallo and Trouch, and then also Sydney Lehman on the front court, a 6'4" center, who should provide pretty good minutes for them as a junior, along with Logan Lowry, who has played a little bit in the past 2 years, but it seems like Corallo and Trouch can be like the main people that are going to come back with experience, and then they're going to have to get a lot of good supporting cast from the underclassmen.
Well, we've also seen players like Mallory Olafson and Renee Rittmeyer step in at times too, but they're losing some extra production with London Alexander, who kind of played as the sixth man the last few years. Just kind of that bench spark. I want to say, I don't have stats up immediately for it, but in the national or the final game they played against Transylvania, she hit a couple of clutch threes. It was either that one or the game before. I don't remember off the top of my head.
And is it
I mean, it was kind of already out of hand at that point. But yes,
It wasn't that bad.
is it usual for
We
them
lose
to
by like
play
14.
all
It really
their
got out of hand in the second half
yeah?
versus
Like-
Transylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ryan.
That's all right.
So I'm going to
Yes, sir.
check the box
Oh,
score
sorry,
on
I
this
got
really
people
quick.
over there.
Off topic, did we get new jerseys?
Women's
so,
team?
yeah.
I think so,
'Cause
probably.
Those are tough.
Yeah, I know. I
we
like 'em.
usually
Those are
get
so
we get
tough.
new ones like pretty much every year.
I was
Is it-
silently losing my mind for like 7 seconds. I was like, whoa.
Is it like
What-
normal for
They
us to
kind of
play
look
all
like
of our
high school
WEAC
jerseys, but
No,
I like them.
no.
They're slick. They're clean.
They're-
Is it normal for us to play all of our WEAC games like all in a row at the end of
Yeah.
the season?
Yeah, that's pretty
That's how
standard in
basketball
basketball.
works.
Okay, that's
well,
what
I
I
mean,
thought,
football,
but they're
I don't know if you
playing 14
noticed this,
straight
but
WEAC.
football's kind of the same way, where it's like we play most of our conference games like at the end of the year.
Yeah, but usually there's like one game where's a non-conference.
So
here
per
than-
my fact check, London Alexander hit 3 threes against Hope and had 13 points, which is one of the higher totals for her that season. But on to Colin, what are you expecting from the Hawks this year?
I'm expecting Casey Corral to really step into that leadership role. We saw her average 14.7 points, which is good, but obviously you're coming behind Aaliyah Grundle, who have over 20 points a game, and like you said, over 2,600 points on her career. So there really wasn't a lot of room for Casey Corral to put up like really big numbers, but now there will be. She's far and away going to be the leading scorer on this team. We saw streaks where she would get really hot, 3-4 threes in a row, just making everything she shoots. So if she can get streaks like that, I can see her definitely being a 20-point and above scorer. And then like we were talking about, Katie Hildebrandt is going to be back, holding down the paint, getting those boards. So losing Aaliyah Grundle hurts, but this team is just so solidly built. I think they'll be fine.
Well, Casey Corallo also recorded a triple-double against Milliken last year, one of the first
Yeah.
in program history. She,
Yeah.
I forget exactly
As a
what her
center,
totals
too.
were.
legendary.
The Jokic of D3 women's basketball, we call her.
Does she like horses too?
Potentially.
Maybe, I don't.
I don't know the girl.
I don't know. I just
Never
got here on
talked to her.
campus.
But
Why don't
back
you
to
go ask her?
Corallo.
Why are you
Games.
asking here? Go ask her.
She
likes
she
horses.
shot just a whisker under 34% from 3 last year, 48 for 100.
A whisker.
Shout out Coach Jared Whisker.
Wixer.
Close enough.
We're pulling the casual card on Colin now. But she averaged over 8 boards a game last year as well. 122 assists for the season, which is well over 4 per game, and 53 steals. So she made an impact on both sides of the ball. But on to Laz. Anything that you have to add about this team?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had a big blow with. Oh my gosh.
Aaliyah.
Yes, sorry, brain fart. With a casual card. My bad.
Everybody's a cat.
Everyone's a cat.
You get a card. You get a card.
That's
you get
definitely a
card.
big blow losing
Oprah's
her,
in
but
here.
we have a lot of people coming back, like Casey, Mallory, Maggie, Renee Rittmeyer. I mean, those are all just huge pieces to our success last year. I think we're going to have a similar start to the season because I don't necessarily think we got any worse. I think the players who were here last year developed and are going to be able to help out a lot more, especially the freshmen and the sophomores who were here last year. What?
Go ahead.
Oh.
What was that?
I had a brain fart. I apologize.
Where was I? You know what? Just take it. Just take it.
Okay.
Take it away.
Jeez Louise.
I was going to talk about the season. Their first few conference games against River Falls and Stevens Point should be easily winnable for them. Last year against Stevens Point, let me pull it up really quick. They took them down by 13 points, but then after that they face in rapid succession Stout and Oshkosh, who are both very, very good teams. And Stout has another preseason All-American and Reagan Sorensen on their team. We saw them come in here during the WEAC tournament last year and take down the Warhawks by, forget exactly what the score was,
it
but
was
it was
9.
around 10 points or something like that.
I think it was 9 to be exact.
And Oshkosh also took down Whitewater in a matchup here at Catchell Gymnasium. So it is entirely possible that this conference could go down to 3 very good teams at the end of the season. But now we're going to move over to the men's side. The men's team kind of sputtered out a little bit at the end of last year. They had sky-high expectations going into the year, actually held the number 1 rank in the country for a week, but finished 17-9 on the year on a 4-game losing streak and lost in the first round of the WEAC tournament at UW Stevens Point by a score of 76-70 after beating them 81-55 just a couple weeks earlier. Laz, I'll start with you on this one. What are you expecting from this team this year?
I'm expecting it to be a little bit better than last season. I mean, it was just kind of it was tough all season. I mean, they were just very inconsistent, especially down the line when it mattered the most. Couple people coming back that are going to be able to hold it down, but I think they really just need it. It just seemed like they didn't really care that much. Like they were just kind of going through the motions, or they would play down to their opponents' levels, and then when they'd play great teams, they wouldn't play up to their standards. It was just very inconsistent basketball, Chris.
Yeah, I gotta side with you on this one. A lot of the main impact players, James Kelly, Delvin Barnstable, Miles Barnstable, and Trayvon Chisholm are all gone this year. So there's gonna be a lot of new production, a lot of new players, a lot of new faces, but there are a couple of returners. Colin, tell me about a couple of them.
Carter Capstrand.
The general.
Yeah, he didn't show a lot last year, but that was because you had guys like the Barnstable Bros, Trayvon Chisholm, and James Kelly doing a lot of the load scoring-wise. But he was a very serviceable player, very fundamental big man. They're going to be playing him at the 4 this year, and they're going to look for some of their younger guys to fill in for that 5 spot, like Austin Ambrose, Richie Warren, Brock Marino. A lot of the younger guys coming in, they're expecting to be better. Jameer Barker is also back.
Jameer Barker's probably going to be the headliner on this team this season.
He was the 3rd leading scorer last season, and now the first 2 guys are gone. So you can only expect him to lead the team in scoring. But one thing they have to improve on is their perimeter shooting only 35% from 3 last year, which isn't terrible, but it was one of the reasons that they would just get outplayed in some of these games. They would go through big stretches where they just couldn't hit a shot, and just the offense looked really clunky out there. They would sometimes get it to or Delvin Barnstable or Trayvon Chisholm and just get out of the way and let them play iso ball. And that just wasn't when this team is at its best. They're at their best when they're pushing in transition, passing the ball at least 5 times a possession. And so when you lose your top 2 scorers, it's going to force you to be more of a team like that and play like more of a team. So I can expect us to see a lot of that. And with Jameer Barker being the point guard, he led the team in assists last year and was 3rd in scoring. So we can expect him to take a big leap forward and really take a leadership role on this team.
Where did Miles end up going?
Miles
He
is
went
at
to St.
Division
Thomas.
One
Yeah,
St.
Division
Thomas, and I
Minnesota.
believe he scored 16 in their season opener. So he's making an impact right off the bat.
Great for him.
Great for St. Thomas.
Miles Barnstable from my hometown, so we can tout that a little bit.
Boo, Lakeland.
Yeah, if you went to Lakeland for a year, I'm an absolute Miles
You would
Barnstable
average
hater.
like 50 points a game at Lakeland.
He did not go to Lakeland. He came to Whitewater as a freshman, became one of the best players on the team, averaged 16 points a game last year. I think he was around 14 to 15 the year before. Shot 46% from the field, around 36 from three, and 89 from the free throw line. So some pretty impressive splits.
But he's a traitor.
Sure, we'll go with that. I always, to be honest,
A real Benedict Arnold.
But he had the
I always
opportunity to
thought-
go to a D1 team and he took it. How
Yeah.
dare he?
I always
What is
thought,
wrong with him?
to
Like,
be
really?
honest, he had the talent. Like from his freshman year, I could kind of tell that, like, not that he was too good for Whitewater, but that he could take his talent somewhere else and still make a huge impact on a better team.
Quick Trip.
Correct.
McDonald's.
Oh.
Yeah, you're right.
Not that low. Not
I
that
didn't
low.
doesn't-
We're going to slide that one to the rug, Mikey. You didn't get the
We
joke.
like
It's okay.
it. We
It's
like
okay.
it. Yeah, it's okay.
You're a
On
good
to
kid.
Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, you guys covered pretty much with Caption and Barker, but that's going to be a pretty interesting 1-2 punch as your veterans of the squad. We have a lot of underclassmen that's going to need to provide a good supporting cast. I do like junior Austin Ambrose. He's 6'9", and then also sophomore Brock Marino, who's 6'7". As a whole, Whitewater has 6 guys, 6'6" and over. So we got to use that size to our advantage and just like be able to stretch the floor and just spread the basketball out and get in the paint.
Well, and Austin Ambrose is a transfer this year, so I'm not 100% sure what to expect from him. He came from UW Parkside, which is a Division II school.
So he transferred down.
Yes, he did.
But I mean, at the same time, you're 6'9", so
At a lot
you
of
should be-
the times,
generally you'd think if you good at basketball.
Right, right.
a lot of times when you transfer down, it's not because you're like worse than the school. It's just you could get much more playing time at a
Exactly.
school like UW
He's
Whitewater
gonna see
than.
he sees an opportunity to get better.
All I could say is I've seen him working out in the Williams Center. He looks like he should be really good at basketball. He's
Does he
6
lift
foot-
more than Colin?
Oh, he's 6'9". I'd hope so.
Well, his arms are
He wasn't.
probably
It was a
like
problem.
his wingspan's probably ginormous. He probably has to have the bench rack thing all the way up at the top, pretty much.
Could not confirm his lifts. But I doubt he
Just
can
watch.
bench.
Keep a close eye next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just sit in the corner with a notebook.
We're gonna
and
need you to
jot
do
it
Yeah.
some.
down.
We're gonna need you to do some scouting.
Just
Yes.
go get a lav mic.
If I can
For sure.
lift more than him, that means I should be on the team, right?
Yes.
Right.
One more
Correct.
thing.
Free pass.
Theoretically.
By logic,
You
by
guys are gonna have
rule,
to start
that's
talking
how
about
that should
me
work.
on Hot
Theoretically.
Talk. Colin Reynolds went 0 for 15 today.
Actually, for
But-
our next Hawk Talk, it's
but he
going to
can
be
lift more.
just like
Yeah,
a
he can
solo
lift more than
tryout
Austin
for you.
Ambrose.
We're going to be up in the stands.
Yeah,
They
we're
have
gonna
gone
take
all
this
for
thing to
15,
the
but he can lift more than Austin Ambrose.
Catchell Gymnasium.
Jared Wixer, it's just going to be you, Coach Wixer, and then us in the stands.
Just heckling me the whole
Solo
time.
Pretty much
tryout.
talking trash.
That's where our Hawk Talk's going to be next week.
We're taking the Comrex up there.
Stay tuned.
Yeah,
Remote location.
We'll do a live Hawk Talk, just bashing Colin Reynolds on the court.
What
Correct.
if I'm doing good though?
Well,
You guys
then
are so
good.
right.
Don't
You
hype
guys
you up.
enjoy me.
Don't hype you up.
What if I'm just banging out every time?
That's cool.
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I went
Yeah,
2 for
good
2
for
on my
you.
threes
Thank you.
yesterday.
Thank you.
On to Mikey.
I mean, going on to last season, obviously it was very disappointing, but I think some of it also, plenty of it has to be from, you have a fresh first-year head coach going in. You have to completely change up from a leadership standpoint. And I just think that transition kind of just hindered the Warhawks a little bit, caused a little inconsistency. They didn't really have, the leader they had for so long there for them, and now they have to transition. But second year, they still got some of the players from last season. They have some transfers, but ultimately, we'll just see if Coach Wixer. Oh my God, I'm an absolute casual. I get a double casual card
Coach
today.
Whisker.
Coach
Crash out
Whisker.
over Mikey.
I get a double casual
It's okay.
card today. It's just,
Yep.
it's been a bad day.
It's unfortunate.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, going back to Wixer, Pat Miller unexpectedly retired from coaching shortly before last season, and Wixer got thrown into the interim role. I don't think it just seemed like there was he wasn't 100% ready for the job, but he went through the coaching search. They rehired him, so I have confidence that the program is doing the right thing and they're bringing him back, and the team should probably look a little bit better this year in terms of effort level, especially towards the end of the season. I'm not trying to be super critical, but it kind of felt like they checked out a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what happened.
I got to tell it like how it is sometimes.
I mean, also when you're going into the season, you're number 2 in the country, and then you just kind of fall apart a little bit, then that can definitely lead to a lot of morale.
I mean, 7-7 in conference play, like we've been talking about with football a lot. You can't be mid in the WIAC.
No, it just you can't.
There's not a lot
You
of
have
room
to-
for error.
No, there's
you have
not
to
room
win
for
games
error
in
in
the
this
WEAC if you
conference.
want to be good.
Well, I mean, and going into the year before, they made a surprise run to the Final Four. I don't really think anyone was expecting them to make it past the first 2 rounds of the tournament, much less as far as they did. They had a lot of things go their way during that run, so the expectations were sky high because almost everyone from that team returned. But it's just last year didn't have the same magic that the year before did.
Just a head coaching change like that is so tough.
Yeah, it's so tough to do that right before the season starts, too. Because pretty much everything changes, Practices aren't the same. The team dynamic probably isn't quite the same as what it was. Obviously, their coaching styles are probably a little different, so they had to adjust to that. Just not a great situation all around. But on to Alex. Do you see them making any improvements this year?
I'm not really. I really hope so. I mean, they have a lot of younger guys on this team, and there are a lot of question marks revolving the younger guys. I mean, many younger guys, like Ryan said, like Brock Marino, have taken steps forward since last season, and it really just comes down to where they decide to place players. Like they have a lot of young talent on the roster, and that's really huge for basketball. It's just knowing where to put people, and putting them in the right position. But as far as the WEAC goes, I mean, Platteville is the team to beat. They're ranked number 2 in the nation, and on paper they're the best team in the WEAC. So
yeah,
that's
one of
gonna
the
be-
best teams in the country with one of the best players in the country with Logan Pearson coming
Yeah.
back this year. Averaged, I think, around 25 points a game last
Scary.
year. Just absolutely dominant.
Scary.
And having to see him again
Dog.
is just frightening.
Yeah.
Dog.
Kimberly
But-
alum.
Correct.
But yeah, I think if this Warhawks team can put guys in the right positions, these younger guys, I'm excited for the season. I'll say that.
When last year, one of the major concerns was it just felt like the size, like even though Trayvon Chisholm was 6'6", it felt like other teams like had bigger bigs, if that makes sense, where they
Well,
could
it's
just
like-
kind of dominate the paint a
Yeah,
little bit.
Compared to everyone else, yes, he was big, but then we'd play,
Platteville,
Platteville.
and they
And
have
then
a big
he's
who's
just-
6'8".
Yeah, it's just, it doesn't work.
So having Austin Ambrose this year, I think, is going to at least somewhat shore that up, where concerns in the paint aren't going to be nearly as pressing as they were in years
6'6"
past.
is like a 2-guard height,
Pretty much,
realistically, like maybe a 3. Maybe a buff 3.
maybe a 4. In D3, it's probably a 4.
Well, right. I'm just saying, in basketball terms, 6'6" is not huge.
Correct.
So it's a
At
little
the
tough.
college level, no.
It's a little tough to go up and get boards when,
Yeah.
you're only 6'6".
Yeah.
Wasn't Pearson going to transfer?
He entered his name in the portal and decided to go back.
Okay.
He weighed his
I
options.
thought I saw it on
He probably
Twitter
just
or
looked,
X.
he
Could
probably
be
just looked to
detrimental to
see
team
like what
chemistry.
his value was. I know that's what a lot of people have been doing. Just
A lot of people do that, where they just kind of throw their name out there to gauge their interest, and then,
Just-
well, because Platteville was so close last year too, I think they all wanted to come back and give it one last shot this year.
Might as well.
I mean, screw it, why not? But with that, we're going to move on to our next topic, which is the NFL trade deadline. We're getting into this a little later than I would have wanted today, but I'll start with Alex on this one again. Your Saints made a huge move today. What's your reaction?
So when I first saw it, I wasn't really surprised because there was a lot of talks about.
Sorry to interrupt you. I'm going to give some quick context. They traded their star corner,
Talk
Marshawn,
about it?
to the
No, I'm not gonna
listeners.
talk about it.
Take it away.
They traded their star corner to Marshawn Lattimore to the Commanders for a haul of picks. And what's your reaction?
So yeah, when I first saw it, I wasn't that surprised because there was talks about it. I didn't think the Saints would actually make a play though, but I'm honestly glad they did, and I'm glad it went to the Commanders, not the Chiefs, because that would have just made matters worse.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they went to the Commanders. I like the Commanders, so that's fine. But I mean, Marshawn Lattimore is one of my favorite players. He just is a great corner, always making clutch plays for us. I think we traded him in a 5th for a 3rd, 4th, and a 6th.
Bet you did.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big haul, and honestly, I'm glad about it. I'm happy. So I'm good.
What
Well,
about,
I
what about
appreciate-
Dennis Allen?
I feel
Glad
like
he's
the
gone.
Saints should have they should have done this a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
In all honesty, they've kind of been treading water for a long time, and I think they
since Drew
finally
Brees-
realized that the writing was on the wall
ever since
and it
Drew
was
Brees
time.
left, it's just
Yep.
been
It's been bad.
downhill.
Down.
It
Downhill
was
spiral.
It was time for sure. I think. Mikey.
I'm gonna go for 2. Jonathan Mingo to the Cowboys. Finally, the Cowboys are going all in.
I don't think
apparently.
that's a needle mover at
Yeah,
all.
I'm just
They're going
Personally.
all in for the Cowboys here. Look out, Jerry Jones going all in for Jonathan Mingo. But they ended up trading Mingo 2025 7th to the Cowboys for a 2025 fourth. And the Packers ended up trading Preston Smith, of course, to the Steelers for a seventh.
CB1.
Which I got really excited for because I thought this was going to, CB1 Preston Smith.
Lined up against JJ and Devontae, two of the best receivers in the league, and he locked them down for not locking him down.
If I was Joe Barry, I'd do the same thing, honestly.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I thought this was going to be like, all right, we're getting rid of cap room because we're about to trade for someone insane and sign him to an extension. No, we just did nothing with it.
I just have a
guess.
feeling that Brian in the mix Gutekunst struck again.
Well, I saw a report. I don't remember. I think it was like LombardiAvenue.com or something. Said that they're thinking about taking down his his snap count or something like that, and going to give more to Lucas Van Ness and Igbare. So ultimately, I mean, the trade isn't terrible. We're getting rid of a bunch of cap space, but I feel like we should have done something with it. Like, because I saw also some things about Greg Newsome going to Green Bay, but I guess that fell apart.
Yeah, that fell apart a couple hours before the deadline, actually. I didn't see much about that. Like, I saw that this morning, but after that, it kind of fizzled out.
I was seeing it like the past 2 or 3 weeks that we might trade for Newsome, and then it just never happened. So
Jaden Reed put something on his Instagram story.
Yeah, that was what
Yeah.
kind of sparked the fire a little bit.
Yeah.
But on to Ryan. Any thoughts on what happened these last week or two, or just in general on the year? Not a huge year in terms of trades, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think it really never is. I think baseball is your biggest trade deadline that you're going to get in
Baseball or
sport.
basketball, I feel
Yeah.
like.
Baseball,
Basketball
100%.
usually has quite a few.
Yeah.
Basketball's just a musical around.
I feel like
love
basketball a
it.
lot more is like off season. Personally, I think
Yeah.
you hear a lot more about basketball off season when
That's
it comes
true.
to player moves.
I don't know.
Baseball-
I always
Depends on
feel
the
like,
year.
yeah.
Some years are
Baseball,
bigger
the
years for
deadline's
trade
always
line-
insane.
trade
Because
Yeah.
they're trading away like
But you see a lot of big trades in the offseason in basketball, too.
like baseball for the trade deadline. It's always like some big name star leaving or getting traded for like 3 top 15 picks or top 15 prospects or something insane.
And the Brewers trade for a washed-up reliever that they hope turns into like a gem again.
Well, do not throw strays at Nick Mears right now.
That was not the point. I'm talking about just in general. That's what
Okay.
they do every
What's
year.
the-
We go,
what's the Nick
see, we
Mears
did our
hate for?
best.
Wait, what's the Nick Mears hate for? He's going to be elite.
I'm
Nick
not
Mears.
hating on.
Set up man for Trevor McGill next year.
All right, back to football.
Yes, my bad. So I'm going to reiterate Mikey's point on the Mingo trade. Like, I like Jonathan Mingo. I liked him at Ole Miss, but I think Jerry Jones pretty much panicked when he was booking his one-way ticket at Cancun. He's like, I gotta make a trade quick. And he hit the send button he hit A on the Xbox and sent the trade through. And then also,
options.
what?
I think it's like the options button or whatever, like the pause button or something.
All right.
All right, back to football, Mikey.
All right.
on.
Let's not get
Gotta
technical.
correct
All
here.
right,
me.
and then Zadarius Smith re-entered the NFC North.
On his conquest,
Yep, all he has to do is play for the Bears now, and
which I could see that happening.
it probably will happen in the offseason. But he went from the Browns to the Lions for a 2026 seventh, and a 2026 seventh. They got back a 2025 fifth and a 2026 sixth. He pretty much just slots in for Aiden Hutchinson. Gives them a
We
little
have
bit,
Aiden Hutchinson at home.
a little bit like insurance policy.
Yeah.
And,
I personally like that move for the Lions, though, because really their only weak spot, per se, right now is that. And
They got no pass rush on Sunday.
Never
They had
forget when
0
s-
sacks.
Never forget when Zadarius Smith wore a snub T-shirt under his jersey because he thought he got snubbed for Defensive Player of the Year, and when he really didn't.
Shocker.
Yeah. I
We
just
could,
think
we could have a conversation about him for
that
a while.
we could. I don't. Not a big fan of his, but I think he can do something for the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they start generating some pressure, because it felt like the Packers, like for how bad they lost, they could have won that game. And
You said every week the Packers lose. They shot themselves in the foot. Like
Yeah.
they're the reason we lost. The Packers,
it kind of
the
feels
Packers are the
that way
reason
with
they
all
lost.
of my football teams this year.
Yeah.
Whitewater, when they've lost, it's not because the other team outplayed them. It's because they shot themselves in the foot. Same thing with the Badgers. Now, they also get outplayed and shoot themselves in the foot, so they're a little different.
They just get blown out.
I
Pretty
really
much.
don't want to talk about the
Let's
Badgers.
just say they're bad.
Yeah, putting the bad in Badger.
Yep.
Yeah.
But on to Colin.
Yeah, looking at the couple Packers-related moves, obviously getting rid of Preston Smith for the 7th. He hasn't been impactful as we've seen in recent years and really hasn't been the same since Zadarius Smith left, but only getting a 7th back for him feels kind of cheap. But like Mikey was talking about, we're just trying to free up snaps for other younger, better guys. So I don't hate
Goot
that
loves
move.
his young guys.
Yeah. And then Zadarius Smith coming back to the NFC North, I just hate, after watching that Lions game, the only thing we had going for us was Jordan Love had a little bit of time in the pocket, and now they're just beefing off that pass rush game. So that's just going to make them even more scary in the NFC, and they're already pretty much the best team in the NFL. And then the Chiefs going out and getting DeAndre Hopkins. This wasn't at the trade deadline. It was a couple days or about a week before, but that just makes them more dangerous, as we saw last night
Two
on Monday Night
tutties.
Football. He
I
made
was
such
thinking
an
of-
impact so quick.
I was thinking about this, like, say by some miracle Rashee Rice comes back, the league is pretty much finished.
Well, it's like they've barely been winning games
tears
this year,
ACL.
and their offense hasn't
Yeah,
looked as
he's coming
explosive
back.
He's
as
not
we've
coming
seen.
back, Chris.
Towards
What about
ACL.
Marquise Brown? What
There's a
He
chance.
can come back. Marquise Brown, I think there's a chance.
No,
he comes
he's
back.
out for the year, too.
Oh, is he?
Oh,
But if they had that full offense with Marquise Brown or Hollywood Brown, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, Rashee Rice
And their
got
quarterback
surgery.
that was throwing more interceptions.
But if you
than
had all
touchdowns.
three of them,
It's
that team
honestly-
is pretty much unstoppable. Plus Kelsey and Pacheco and Hunt in the backfield,
They're
too.
just like the Tom Brady Patriots. No matter how many guys go out, no matter how many things go wrong, they're still going to figure
They're
it out
inevitable.
somehow. Just a great quarterback and great coaching, as much as I hate to say it, because I hate the Kansas City Chiefs. But then going out and getting Hopkins, we've seen how weak their offense has been with all those guys out, and that just fixes that problem. And then when those guys do come back, like you said, it's wraps for the league.
Yeah, pretty
it's like
much.
The AFC is like, I was watching Good Morning Football earlier. It's like, who's the second best team in the AFC? It's like Ravens.
It's
maybe,
either the Ravens or the
or
Bills.
the Bills, maybe, but like
They
none of those
both have
teams
their
just-
games where they stumble. The Chiefs haven't
Exactly.
had that yet.
And it's like I don't see a scenario where any of those teams actually beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. They're pretty much just going to be a write-in for the Super Bowl again, and just only getting better with that DeAndre Hopkins move. So I hate it.
Yeah, me too. I can't disagree with you
Still
there.
a long season ahead. Plenty of things can go wrong.
That is true. What
Sounds
can,
like a
They
threat.
already have had things go on, but they're still undefeated.
Yeah, it's
Mahomes,
crazy.
Mahomes
I'm just
not
saying.
even playing good.
Exactly.
That Steve
he
Spagnuolo
played
defense
decent
is just so
yesterday,
good.
though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
during the
yesterday.
game last night, everyone thought he like tore his ACL
I
because he was
know.
hobbling off the field. I
Popped
was
his
like,
Achilles, tore his ACL.
What has Aaron Rodgers been doing? The water with cayenne pepper, whatever.
Yeah,
Definitely what they gave him in the.
Cayenne.
that'll work.
it's
Well, it's like his like little youth drink. It makes him feel
Yeah, the
younger.
fountain of youth. That's
Yeah.
definitely what they gave Patrick.
Mahomes has
Drinks
11
from the
touchdowns
blood
and
of
9
the
other
picks.
things.
yeah.
Speaking of the Jets, do you guys think after this weekend that they're gonna pick it up a little bit,
No.
or like after watching
No.
like Rodgers and Tay
No.
start to reestablish the connection again?
No.
No.
You think it's gonna
They
be
suck.
because
I think
they
it
have
was
one
one
of
of
the
those
easiest
games.
schedules going forward in the entire NFL.
But we've seen them lose to bad teams. So
Like the
it's
Patriots.
Yeah.
They lost to the Patriots.
Drake May's that dog, though.
I can't defend that.
Even though
Drake
he went
Mays
out,
looked
even
good
though he
so
went
far.
out and Jacoby Brissett came in, but
He's looked all right.
Yeah.
He's young though, you know.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time to grow.
I always say when you throw a young rookie quarterback into a bad situation, you can't judge him too much.
When
Bryce
he's
Young.
made some of those bad players look good.
Mm-hmm.
Like those receivers are probably that might be the worst receiving core in the league, and he's made them look serviceable.
I'm staring at Laz right now. He called out Drake May earlier this year.
What are you gonna do
Yeah,
about
after
it?
you threatened
Yo, kiss him.
to enter his house, after you threatened to break
Kiss him.
into his home, live on air.
On to Laz.
Like everyone's been saying, it hasn't really been a huge trade deadline. I mean, you got Khalil Herbert to the Bengals, just
That's not really an
yeah, a
Whoop-de-doo.
mediocre.
Hooray!
Oh, let me finish. How about that? I was gonna just say like one mediocre team making a move for a mediocre player, going to another mediocre team.
Well, and Zach Moss I saw could be out indefinitely, so that was a good move for them because behind Chase Brown, I couldn't tell you the other running
Brown's
backs.
on my
that they had.
fantasy
Yeah,
team.
I
I
know.
like that a lot.
I have no idea. It's just a
Illinois
lot of
legend.
mediocrity going on. Not an
legend,
exciting
Chase
trade deadline. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins was probably the biggest one, and like you said, he's already made an impact. I mean, there were talks about DK getting traded, and now Seattle's not trading him. It's just a lot of mediocrity going on right
To be
now.
honest, Seattle feels like they're almost in the like New Orleans of the last 2 years position where they're not bad enough to tank, but they're also not good enough to truly contend. Are you
Yeah.
guys with me on this?
That's true.
Yeah.
Just mediocrity.
Mid.
Like they're not terrible, but they're also not good either.
One of the NFL's many mid teams right now.
Yep, there's a lot of them. I would say, probably the Colts are in that tier.
Colts are mid.
I mean, Houston was supposed
After
to be
having
good
one of
this
the
year, but they've
worst
looked
quarterbacks.
Same thing with the
unimpressive.
Bengals.
Yeah, the
They have all
Bengals
the
are
talent to be so
okay.
good, but they're
Ever forget
mid
when they were
anyways.
hyping up Anthony Richardson as possibly one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and then he throws 44%.
Then you got to rely on 57-year-old Joe Flacco.
Sleepy Joe.
Yeah, pretty much.
57-year-old.
Taking a nap on the sideline, you
He
gotta wake him up.
looks like he's in his 50s.
Dude,
But he's
God,
good. He's
God
elite.
forbid a dude yawns on the sideline. Like, why were they making such a big deal out of
He's
it?
old, dude.
No,
dude,
Flex.
Just adds to it.
Richardson yawned.
He yawned, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, he's yawning."
Well, it's
Because
it,
he
so
took
what?
himself
What do you
out of the
want him to do?
game because he said he was tired. So
Yeah.
so they're
Respect-
flaming him for
respect-
for
I'd
yawning.
get tired too if I was playing.
You know what? I
in
don't
the
want a
NFL.
tired quarterback in the game if I'm a coach. I'd be like, "Thank you for telling me."
Yeah.
You know, thank you.
Well,
Thank you for manning
we'll
up
put the
like,
39-year-old elite quarterback
Joe,
on the
put your
sideline
helmet
anyway.
on. Get your keister in there.
Right.
We did it, Joe.
Yeah.
Hard of hearing. Joe
Throw your
Flacco.
teeth in real quick in your hearing aid. What? Fourth down? I'll go for it.
Well, it's like that clip of Tom Brady where he like looks over at the sideline. He puts up like the 4 or
Yeah, 'cause
whatever.
he thought it was fourth down.
Yep.
That was against the Bears, I think.
Yeah,
I
it
remember.
was.
All right. Before we get to final thoughts, I do want to touch on this. This was supposed to be our last topic of the day. Before final thoughts, the Badgers football team suffered a 42-10 embarrassment against the Iowa Hawkeyes, who came into the game 5-3, 4-2 in conference. Not ranked at the time, not ranked now. So, Mikey, I know this is the one you didn't want to talk about, so I'm going to start with you here because why
I
not?
hate you so much.
Reactions
Great
to
move,
the
Chris.
game.
That's a solid move.
I hate Caleb Johnson as a Wisconsin fan, but he's also quite fun to watch. I mean, he completely dominated the game for Iowa. 24 for 135 and 3 touchdowns. I mean, on the ground, there was no denying that Iowa completely destroyed Wisconsin with the ground game, especially when your quarterback's throwing 93 yards and a touchdown. I mean, the ground game was just completely destroying the Badgers. Braden Locke. I want to be the
Locktober is over.
I want to be the Braden Locke supporter, but that was bad. That was atrocious.
You can't
It's not a
sugarcoat a
give
game
rest.
like that.
Can't
No, you
you cannot sugarcoat a game like he had. It was not good. The run game couldn't get going either. Tyree Walker was just not the same, explosive running back that we've thought he could have been. And I mean, Iowa's defense did what they've done, completely shut down the offense, and for some reason, their offense decided to go for 42 for the first time in probably 58 years.
Iowa's offense is competent this year, which is weird to say, but they're not terrible this year. Like they can move the
Clearly.
ball. They had.
Only running.
Let me fact check this really quick. 422 total yards of offense, including
93 yards passing.
329 on the ground.
What was their conversion on third down rate?
Let me see.
Because I know I said 2 weeks ago that it was stinky, and I want to see if it's still stinky.
Iowa on third down was 6 of 11.
No, Wisconsin.
Oh, 2 of 11.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
Stinky.
Well, the
There
problem
it is.
was
Wow.
with them, they always get into third and long, are forced to pass the ball, and are incapable of doing so because it's either Locke overthrows his man, or the receiver just drops it.
2 for 11. You gotta convert.
Vinny Anthony.
You gotta convert though.
Or, it's also 3rd and 2, and we don't hand that off, too.
Or you hand it off in shotgun.
I
On
was
fourth and
hyping
inches.
up Will Pauling this year like he was going to be the demigod of NCAA football, and no, he's just been
Mid.
there. He's just
Pretty
on
much.
the field.
Exists.
He's just
He
like
takes up
on the
space.
field. He's the 11th man on the
Just here
field.
so I don't get fined.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, like, how much of this Badger team is going to transfer out after this year? Because that's such a relevant topic in college football these days.
Yeah.
All right, Griffins, thanks, guys.
Chris, yeah.
Yeah, probably all of them. I wouldn't want to play for this Badger football
Yes,
team right now.
Especially when they don't have any identity
Hopefully
at
some
all.
can come to Whitewater.
Hey, they almost won the Big
Yeah.
Ten tournament in
Hey,
basketball.
Braden Locke, welcome to Whitewater, pal.
Well, the basketball
If Braden
team got
Locke
off
comes
to
to
a rough
Whitewater,
start
I'll be
yesterday, too,
happy
but turned it
man.
around.
Yeah.
But hey, they almost
As a
won
man
the
that
Big
took
Ten
Braden Locke
tournament
to the
last
Heisman
year.
Correct.
Trophy in college football 25, if he comes to Whitewater, I'll be a happy fella.
Cade McNamara is Tom Brady on NCAA. On that, I don't get it. I hate it. I hate him. I hate him.
Make Iowa great again.
I hate him.
I agree.
Make Iowa's offense great again. Kay McNamara has done exactly that this year because they're scoring over 10 points.
I'm excited for. I'm excited to watch Wisconsin play the number 1 team in the
No.
country.
No.
I am.
Yeah, let's
so
preview that game really
excited.
quick. What do you
Nothing-
set the spread at?
I'm
wanna
setting
ask
it
you.
at-
It's in 2 weeks. It's not this weekend, right?
Oh no, it's
No,
I think it's this
16th.
weekend, is it not?
The 16th.
Oh, so they must have a bye week or something this week.
Both them and the Packers do.
Well, this is gonna be a boring football weekend.
I mean, it would be boring to watch them anyway.
college
'cause-
basketball's
Actually, it wouldn't be
back.
boring. It'd just be depressing to watch them. You'd just be sitting there.
I'm gonna put it at like
sulking
a
watching Badgers.
56-point spread.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I
Whatever
mean,
you do
the thing
against the
is, they didn't
Badgers.
play half bad against Penn State.
But the
So
house-
it's like, you could say, oh, there's been some
and we're
progress
home.
here.
And we're home.
Yeah, and then
Woo, jump
Maybe
around.
What, do you
50.
think we're gonna win?
Instead of 56, maybe
No,
50 now.
but
Yeah,
it was.
come on.
But Penn State was a close game at home.
yeah, Penn State that
Still
game
a
they hung
two-possession
with
game.
them
Why
for
are you
We're
acting
just
like-
not a
most of the
Why are
second
we
game.
acting like we lost by 3? We lost.
just not a
we
second
lost by
half team, dude.
15.
Yeah, but it was close for most of the game.
Two
Like
possession game.
it wasn't out of the
I mean, I
realm
guess
of
it's-
possibility.
I guess it's
Compared to
better
some of the
than
other games we've seen,
32.
that wasn't that bad.
Yeah, honestly, truthfully,
That's true.
I saw some things in that game that weren't terrible.
Yeah.
Like Locke had his moments. Tawee Walker had a couple. Will Pauling played decent in that game, but also dropped like 4 passes.
Locke is just a mediocre quarterback.
Yeah, I mean,
last
Yeah.
year.
Braden Locke, 8 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 56% completion. I mean, am I watching Braden Locke or am I watching Jason Sinetti?
All I gotta say is if we don't,
I have no
The
idea.
Jason Sinetti slander on this show will not be tolerated.
I'm
Dude.
just saying if Wisconsin does not
What
bring
is
the
this?
axe home at the end of
Wow.
the year, I'm gonna be infuriated. If we lose to Minnesota
Minnesota
this year,
is 6-3
Minnesota's
right
good.
now. It is
I
very
know,
possible.
but that's why it'll make me mad
What?
because then we're just losing to Minnesota
That's
as well.
crazy.
Because odds are that's probably going to be a game. That's probably gonna be the game where it could determine if we go bowling. Because we
Yeah.
got Oregon, Nebraska, Minnesota.
Nebraska on the road is probably
That's
a loss.
gonna be more than likely a loss.
Well, the thing is, right? Minnesota finished 5-7 last year and still got a bowl game. So it's entirely possible the Badgers go 5-7 and get invited to like the Duke's Mayo Bowl
Yeah,
or something.
and then we
still
label
get-
it
and
as
then we
we
extend the streak.
Then we-
yeah.
then we break
Yeah.
the trophy and put an actual bottle of mayo on it.
Then
Like,
it's like a successful season, and like
And it just allows them
not.
to ignore all the problems.
Exactly,
That
'cause we
are
don't-
very clearly there.
we don't have any identity on offense. Like we're mixing
They're the
raid
air
and,
raid, but yet also
and it's Big Ten football. Like Fickle and Longo need to figure it out.
Yeah. It felt like they had at least a grasp of it for a little while, but like against obviously Purdue and Rutgers are not a good litmus test of how good your football team is, but being able to put up 52 and 42 and even 24 against Northwestern, 23 I guess, but being able to put that up against like Big Ten opponents still shows like there's at least a little bit there. It's just they haven't been able to put it into fruition. It's really frustrating.
Well, it just seems like every week, like the weeks we scored 52 and 42, like we actually had an air raid game plan, and then for some reason we just switch it and we go to combining Big Ten football. Like if it's working and we're scoring 40 plus points, like why don't we just keep throwing the football?
Yeah, it honestly almost feels confusing. But with that, we're going to move into final thoughts. Alex, I'll let you start. What's your final thought for today?
So I was just watching the Chiefs game last night. I'm going to bring it back to that game. I just thought it was funny how they need to change the overtime rules.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I would agree.
100%.
Make it college football.
yes, exactly. Like it just makes the game more fun. Like I get like you don't want the game to run too long, but like think about the fans. Like that's so much more fun to watch than seeing Patrick Mahomes just take it downfield and then Kareem Hunt going in for the touchdown every time. It's just so boring.
Yeah,
you even
I
saw
mean,
Baker Mayfield too.
Not
He
only
knew it was
that,
gonna
it's
happen.
like, I swear,
Yeah,
the Chiefs win every single coin toss.
yeah.
What are
But
we looking at?
It feels like the Chiefs win. Like they get the coin toss, go on a super methodical drive, and end up scoring right at the end. And
Every
then,
time.
Yep, every game plays out more or less.
I gotta
the
say,
same
is
with
most of
them.
their games have been one possession wins. They haven't really had a dominant win.
Yeah, it's like everyone says that they're gonna beat Carolina so bad, but in reality, Carolina's gonna lose by 7.
Probably maybe 2 possessions.
Bryce Young masterclass.
It better be.
If Joe Barry gets hired on the
You know what?
Chiefs
Zach
staff,
Wilson
it's entirely
outperformed Patrick
possible.
Mahomes last year when they played the Jets. So I'm expecting Bryce Young. Not expecting, but I'm hoping Bryce Young puts
Bryce
up an
Young also
insane-
beat C.J. Stroud last year. Just throwing that out there.
That's true.
A lot of people glossed over that.
I forgot about that.
All right, on to Mikey.
I'm just gonna say I'm gonna keep it to Wisconsin. Please go bowling this year. I would actually like to watch us go bowling.
I call
This
this
year-
a hot take if you want. I want them to miss a bowl.
Me too.
Because
I don't.
It
I think
it shows
it'll
shows,
open their eyes.
Yeah. It'll
This is
allow them to
already
get off their
opener.
high
We got
horse about this
smacked by
team.
Iowa 42-10. That's already good enough eye opener for me personally. But,
No, but sometimes you need to hit rock bottom to go back up,
but
and this team has to hit
the
rock
reason
bottom.
I say go bowling is because the odds are we're gonna have to play Minnesota and beat Minnesota to go bowling. So I'm just hoping we hold up the axe and then go bowling.
Well,
with
if
it
there's
as well.
a chance that you miss the bowl because you lose to Minnesota, that will be an ultimate black stain on the program, and it will get them to open their eyes a little bit.
Agreed.
On to Ryan.
I'll go to baseball here. I know baseball season's pretty much over, but the off season is just coming up. Devin Williams is pretty much all but gone.
Womp womp.
Brewers declined his club option. He's going to go to arbitration, pay him less, and Matt Arnold's going to say bye-bye and trade him.
Most likely. Yeah, I can't disagree. On to Colin.
The Los Angeles Lakers need some depth.
Yep.
You got Bronny.
Horrible loss last
Yeah,
night.
Bronny James.
That
Yeah.
was just
Since we only have 30
Pistons.
seconds, let's just do this together.
Yeah,
Let's
dude,
just do this together.
That's a respectable
Let's get
decision.
this
I appreciate
horrible
this.
loss.
I mean,
to a horrible
We were
team.
down consistently 10-plus points the
Who was
entire
this
time.
game against?
The Pistons.
Oh, yeah.
Pistons.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
What
I
are
saw
you
that.
laughing at?
Yeah, we are the worst team in
You
basketball.
scumbag.
We-
I don't wanna hear a
Mikey,
single-
the Bulls just lost to the Jazz last night.
I don't want to hear a Bucks or Bulls fan talk right now. 'Cause
Right.
At least we're
That's
above
fine.
500.
Listen,
It's
you
fine.
start
Oh
the
my
season
gosh.
3-0. You got the league leading scorer on your team at the moment. You got LeBron James.
You've got a Rookie of the Year candidate in Dalton Connect 4.
Right.
And
then,
Bronny James.
And then you just drop an absolute dookie against the Pistons.
Last year's worst team in the league.
But
What
the
are we
Pistons,
doing?
they look a little better